SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're previewing Week 7 in college football right now. We are talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. We're going to discuss the Michigan-Penn State game. Joe, thanks for being back with us this week.
Thank you, Peter, for having me again.
All right, Michigan-Penn State. Before we get into it, give a plug for OffshoreInsiders.com. I know you're having a great year this year.
Yeah, we're especially having a great year in the NFL where we're 32-16, but ahead for the year in college and pro combined, preseason and regular season. I've been around since 1988 on the score phones, was gambling before that, but as a professional handicapper, this is year 26. Been winning a whole heck of a lot more than I've been losing, and now my plays are at OffshoreInsiders.com.
Okay, sounds good. Michigan at Penn State. I'll tell you, I'm thinking I'm seeing that an edge here. Penn State's a 1.5-point home underdog, 1.5 or 2.5 on the spread, depending on where you look. So if you want Michigan, we'll give you 1.5. If you want Penn State, you'll get 2.5. Total is 51. It opened at 49 at Bookmaker. Penn State, of course, is off the blowout at Indy, and because of their sanctions, their defense really just is not quite what it once was. Michigan, obviously they're a talented team. They're top 20, but we remember their close calls against UConn and Akron. So Michigan, are they the kind of team that can be trusted as a bet? I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't feel comfortable betting on them here. I think I really like the over, even though it's already moved up to 51. I mean, you look at Penn State, they're giving up a lot of points. Like we said, they went to 65 against UCF, Indiana last week. And Michigan, they put up a lot of points against Minnesota. I think Michigan should probably put up, 30 themselves right here. I think the over 51 might be a good bet. What do you think, Joe Duffy?
Yeah, I have to admit, I haven't looked quite as closely at the totals as I have the sides. Usually the totals I look at a little bit later on in the week. But no, if anything, I think the play here is to go with the road favorite. Okay. Penn State last year, now, without talking about, obviously it was a horrible human tragedy. But as far as that horrific scandal affected the football team last year, the players, they were collateral damage. They had something to rally around, the us against them. That couldn't last another year. Penn State greatly overachieved last year. This year, they've been a Peter Principle team. They've beaten up on the inferior opponents, but they've struggled against quality opponents. Yeah. They lost 3 weeks ago to Central Florida. We had that as a premium play. Central Florida, pretty darn good team with an underrated quarterback. And then last week, they were blown out by Indiana. So I think Penn State has finally come down to earth. They're no longer riding that emotion that they did the last year's Cinderella season. Penn State is overrated, and after a tough confidence-busting loss last week, this is a great spot to go against them. And quite frankly, I think Penn State's going to be a pretty good team to go against the rest of the year. But this is their toughest opponent they face. Plus, they've got a talented freshman quarterback. But this is his biggest test of the year. No, I'm going with the small road favorite in Michigan.
Now, you make a good argument, a great argument, and I'm agreeing with you. What would you say to all the people, though, who maybe bet on Michigan and got burned in the Akron and Connecticut games and have those games still fresh in their minds?
Right. Well, as you said, Akron and Connecticut, we've talked about in other videos where there are certain letdown situations. No, Penn State, they're playing at Penn State. This will not be a letdown situation. Right. You can understand how Akron or Connecticut can give them a little bit of a run for their money, but Michigan will come to this game to play. And keep in mind, they're probably getting linebacker Jake Ryan back for this game. He is their best defensive player, but he'll be playing for the first time since in March. He tore his ACL. Now, granted, that is a tough injury to come back from. How effective will he be? He's going to give them an emotional lift. So now when a team had a letdown in an obvious letdown situation, that's one thing. But there will be no letdown here at Penn State in front of 103,000 people. I wouldn't sweat that at all.
Okay, I'm kind of liking it more and more the more I listen to you talk. Joe Duffy from Offshore Insiders liking Michigan -1.5 against Penn State, Week 7. Thanks so much, Joe.